Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan Rice. On this episode, I want to go over this little contraption I got going on here in the front of my kayak. Alright, so there's a lot of dashboards out there, they call them, or crossbars that you can mount across your kayaks. They have them for the Hobies, they have them for any kind of track setup, etc. But this is the first time me kind of utilizing this setup. I want to see if I like it, but I have parts laying around from being in the electrical industry that this setup only cost me $3 a do. So it's kind of a way to try it out without costing me money. I may just leave it the way it is if I like it, and it's something that I did myself. So this video is going to be more about, yes, it's nothing new to the kayak industry, but it's a less expensive way that you can make a crossbar platform for yourself on your kayak. So I want to go over what I did here and a little bit more detail. I'm not going over the install video because to me, that's kind of boring to watch. Yes, some people may want to see that, but either you're going to have the tools to do this, the ability to do this, or not. So if you're not able to do this or have the tools, etc., you're just better off buying a pre-made version of a crossbar or a dashboard for your kayak. So let's get into it, and we're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough here and setup. So you can see this is called unistrut. This is 7/8 stick, and right in front of me here, I want you guys to see the two different colors, is we have stainless steel. So it's not going to rust, and we have galvanized. Now you can get away with using galvanized. It's a lot cheaper to buy. You can buy this at the big box stores, and it's readily accessible. But with me being in the electrical industry and being around a lot of industrial applications or higher end installs, we do a lot of stainless steel. So, you know, there's pieces, little cut pieces of this laying around the job site for me. So overall, this cost me $3 to do because I had a lot of the parts. So I just want you guys to see the different color between the stainless and then the galvanized. Like I said, the galvanized will work. Over time, it's going to rust, but it takes a lot for it to rust. If you're in the saltwater environment, it may rust a little bit faster. But they have sprays out there. When you cut this, it's like a galvanized spray that you can, spray the ends where you cut it with a saw, hacksaw, sawzall, bandsaw, etc., and spray the ends so it doesn't rust. This stainless steel, I don't have to worry about it, and I had these pieces laying around. So what I mean by it only cost me $3 to do this, I just had to buy these little end caps. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and get a little bit close in around here how I installed this so you guys understand what I did and the parts I already had from my previous fish finder setup on my kayak. So I already had the Yak Attack cell block, and I used to mount it on the side rail right here, and it stayed elevated up, and it was okay. But with this setup here on top of this I added on top of the cell block. I actually added a mighty mount and a lock and load base to the top of the cell block. But normally this piece right here is screwed on top of the cell block, and you put your lock and load base here to be able to handle your connection for your fish finder. So what I did is I took all that stuff apart and I mounted the transducer mount on the rail itself and just ran the wire back to the cell block and wrapped it around. Now this gives me the ability, if I need to remove this setup, I have a thumb screw here, a thumb screw here, and a thumb screw over here. Those three thumb screws is all I need to do to loosen this up and take this whole setup off if I want to. For the most part, the transducer itself and the cell block itself and the mount will probably always stay. I'm just going to remove my screen when I'm traveling, etc. And all I got to do is just take this, fold it up, and I could tuck it in while it's on in the back of my truck while I'm traveling. If I want, I could take a little night eyes tie and just take some of the bounce out of this and just kind of tie it off to my foot steering for my Torqeedo. When I'm going down the road, that'll be an easy thing to do, and I could leave all this and just remove my screen. I had all these parts already. Obviously, if you don't have the cell block set up, you're going to have to get a cell block set up or mount your transducer through the transducer setup that Nucanoe makes. So you can go through this one scupper plug here. Originally, I just bought the cell block for the Nucanoe because I want to be able to take it on and off real easily, because I do use this setup as a tandem setup with my son. So even the way I have it set up now, still 3 thumb screws, I can remove all this, and when I'm out with my son, I usually don't take the fish finder anyway, because it's just one thing, it's more in the way and it's not needed when we're going out for fun fishing and we're in a kayak. If we run ashore, it's not a big deal. But let's go over the rest of this real quick. I don't want to make this video too long. This is just to give you guys an idea that you can use a piece of strut, even if it's stainless or galvanized, to do the same setup. So obviously, like I said, this is the transducer mount. I just mounted it to the track. Now over here, I cut the strut and I mounted these end caps, which you can see the part number right here. This is a Thomas & Betts version of it. These are just little end caps that slide in to the end of the strut. It keeps some of the sharp edges away, and this was $3, and believe it or not, they actually sell these at Home Depot. So there's your part number from Home Depot, SECB-B2-10, Thomas & Betts Super Strut end caps. And normally these little pieces are by the unistrut in Home Depot, like on an end cap is where you can usually find them, and you just gotta search around, or just search on Home Depot unistrut end cap, and it'll tell you exactly what aisle these are in. Or if you are close to electrical supply house, you can get a piece of stainless. It's gonna cost you a little bit more money, but a piece of galvanized is a lot cheaper. Like I said, it will take a long time for it to rust, especially being in freshwater only. You can go a long time without it, and you could always paint this with a good, get rid of the oil, clean it up, degrease it basically, and spray paint this black, the galvanized version, or even the stainless, and you can make it black, and it's going to protect it from rusting a lot faster. What I did here is I use all Yak Attack accessories. Once again, these are parts I had from all the different things I've bought through the years of just collecting extra pieces. So it's mounted with the track nut, and what I did is, instead of using the slot in the unistrut, I'm going to unscrew this real quick so you can see it. Is actually drilled a 1/4-inch hole directly through the strut in between the slots. This way there's no slop in it going side to side. It basically keeps it right where it is. And once you tighten this thing down, the thumb screw, it's not going to slide around side to side or front to back. But just staying out of the slot itself makes it a little bit more stable and secure, if that's what you want to call it. So I took the base of the cell block itself, and once again, I didn't use thumb screws on this. I actually used 1/4-20 stainless steel hardware with a washer, and it's on the bottom side, but there's a 1-inch washer on the bottom side going through the slot, and a nylon nut. So I figure with the nylon nut, the stainless steel hardware, and especially with the nylon nut, it's going to keep it in place without moving around from vibration of driving down the road. So I prefer, instead of just using thumb screws, to use a nylon nut to hold this in place itself with just 1/4-20 stainless steel hardware. Once again, this is stuff you can buy from Home Depot or any of the big box stores. So really, overall, before we get into the rest of this video, between your stainless hardware and a piece of unistrut, if it's galvanized, you can do this for about $15 to make yourself a crossbar. Yes, you need to add all your other stuff to it, but just $15 gets you a setup where you can screw things to it. Yes, there's a lot of cool things out there from Boondocks, from Nucanoe itself, that actually has a dashboard made out of plastic with stand-up legs that go across and give you a lot more front to back, I guess you could say, area that you can mount more things to, but it's around like $60. So you can really make your own crossbar for a lot less money, especially if you are near job sites. If you're near a job site and it's towards the end of the day, I would suggest go up to the job site, especially if it's like a commercial job site. This unistrut's going to be on that job site, I can guarantee it. And if you walk up to somebody in a nice fashion and say, listen, do you have like a 2-foot piece of unistrut I could have? They're going to probably most likely say, yeah, no problem, and give you a piece. And then all you got to do is just buy a little bit of Yak Attack hardware or whatever, and you can mount this to your track yourself, or screw it right through your kayak if you want. Like I said, this is just giving you an idea, and it's just it was a cheap $3 way for me to try this whole setup out to see if I even like it this way. When it was up here on top with the cell block itself, it was okay. It mounted perfectly on this track, but I had a lot of side-to-side movement just because of, I think, the height of everything and just being mounted just on this track. And there's a little bit of movement to the track itself, you know, going into the kayak. So I wanted to change this up this year, and I wanted to try this whole setup out. Back to where I was. So inside my cell block, I still have, I'm going to slide it out this way, my Nucanoe battery and my power connections, and that's how I charge this up. Now I did mount a Mighty mount, what I said previously, and the lock and load system to be able to maybe move this up there and put my rod holder closer. I may even want to do maybe a camera mount here, even though I don't do a lot of like looking at me in the camera on my videos, because I figure, why would you want to see me? But I also may mount a little floodlight on this and wire it into my Nucanoe battery with like a Y splitter. Maybe put a switch on this to be able to flood out when I'm, you know, launching out early in the morning, or give myself a little light on the deck. I don't know. That's just me thinking right now out loud while I'm doing this video for you guys. But, you know, you can have a little fun with the top of the cell block itself from Yak Attack, because you still have a flat plastic platform that you can screw to or bolt through it and add other things on top of this, being that you're not using this whole setup right now. All right, same thing on this side. I just did a 1/4 20 hole through the base, or through the strut itself, to keep this locked in place. You got your end cap, and I basically just took the lock and load mount, Mighty mount, lock and load base, and I mounted it to the unistrut itself to hold my Garmin. And this is the whole setup right here. Very simple. It's going to give me a nice little area to have my setup in front of me. Now, using the Nucanoe now for almost 9 months, I realized that this is the amount of deck space I need to be able to control my torpedo, bring a fish in, measure it, and have my board here. So this is all the deck space I need, foot room I need. That's why it worked out well to be about 3 inches back on this one piece of track. Now, this setup's not for everybody. Some people may not like the dashboard. I've never had the fish finder set up exactly in front of me straight on. I've always had it off to the side. This way, when I'm looking to the side, I always see the graph in the corner of my eye. But some people say it gets in the way of catching fish. I never had that problem, but I wanted to try this setup out. I wanted to be able to show you guys you can do this very inexpensively, especially if you can farm the parts out from a job site. If you already had some of the cell block pieces from Yak Attack, and make your own little setup. Now, I do have room on here, over here. If I move the track packs, I have a little bit more space here to be able to mount maybe another lock and load base and keep things on the bar itself instead of the track. But I have the piece of track right here in front, and it's fine. I thought about mounting the track packs themselves on here, but I like them over here, and it gives me the ability to slide it around closer if I need to. So I just wanted to do this little video, kind of show you that this cost me $3. Yes, it may cost you guys more, but I just want to say that you can use a piece of unistrut as a crossbar across your kayak to make your own version of the dashboard. You can throw almost like a cutting board on top of this, you know, plastic cutting board, and screw it through it and give yourself a more of a flatter area. And it's still going to be a little cheaper than you buying one from a company. Now, you know me, I'm not a person to knock any company. Everybody has their own innovations, and there's a lot of cool products out there. Once again, this was just a video to show you guys that you can do this with a piece of unistrut and make it work as well. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it gives you guys an idea of a way to cut costs down on making basically a crossbar for your kayak, or a dashboard setup, if that's what you want to call it. I think it's a cool thing, of a DIY thing. So drop some comments, ask me some questions. You have any questions, let me know. It's pretty much a simple setup. It doesn't take much but a saw to cut the unistrut, a drill, and some hardware with some, you know, 1/4-inch drill bits basically, and you can get this done yourself. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it looks like crap. Let me know. I think it works. So that's what we're gonna run with for now. All right, guys, as always, be safe on the water, and I'll catch you on the water. Thanks for watching. We're gonna be on the water very soon, guys.